Hey guys, this is Steven. I was just going to share with y'all something cool I found out while doing science the other day. I was doing science right here in this book, Exploring Creation with Physical Science. It's a pretty cool book. It's by a guy who it's a science textbook, of course, but it's through the eyes of a Christian, and it's creation with a Christian emphasis, and it's God focused, of course, and it's pretty cool. But one of the experiments here was done with this battery with two wires, which are connected and go into this cup right here with 1 tablespoon of baking soda. It's a pretty fun experiment. I thought it was cool just to watch, of course, the bubbles, but I made a reference to Christ and how he affects our lives, which is very true. He affects our lives daily and huge. The battery I see is here in the gospel, and the two wires leading from it here are like two people who hear the gospel, and going back into this water is like going back into the world and taking what they know. The bubbles you see here are actually happening because this wire, because of the electric current, is actually breaking down the water molecules, creating air. Yeah, since water is made up of H2O, of course, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, what's actually happening is it's breaking it down back into those 3 atoms of hydrogen and oxygen, so that hydrogen and oxygen are actually turning back into gases while in the water, which is why you see so many bubbles coming up. But the reference I made to the world is that back here we hear the gospel, but up here we don't. This wire right here is a person who hears the gospel, but he doesn't really take it into consideration, and he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't fully trust in God and let him truly take over our lives. And so he goes around sharing his false teaching. This one right here, the brown wire. He goes around sharing his false teaching and just think he's a Christian and boasting that he's a Christian when he's actually breaking down the people around him, as in this wire is breaking down the water molecules, so he's doing more harm than good. As you can see, he's still brown, like over here. But this wire back here is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, so as you can see it comes over here, and it is turning a blue color. So it started over here as a bronze color, but it ended over here as a blue color, which is like a person who hears the gospel and does something about it and truly hears it and knows what it's about. So he takes it, and not only does this change himself, but as you can see, he's changing the water around him, which is like the person hearing the gospel and changing the world around him. The water started out as a crystal clear water, of course, but over time it has changed thanks to that blue wire right there, which started out, of course, bronze back here, but over time it is turned this blue color, which, like we see on the Statue of Liberty, where the water and the air and the humidity causes the copper to turn a blue color, which the process is sped up by the battery and the electric current. But as you can see, it is still creating a few bubbles, but it's nothing like this one over here, where it's just going wild and breaking down everything around it. But I want to make a point, like I said, that not only did it change itself, but it changed the water around him from crystal clear to blue. Which is like how when we hear the gospel and we do something about it, where we still rely on Christ to lead our lives and speak through us. Yeah, so it changes not only the wire, but the water around it. And another thing I want to point out is this experiment would not be possible without the water, in the same way that our lives would not be possible without Jesus, who in the Bible calls himself the living water. How ourselves and change is not possible without him. And another thing is in Leviticus, it talks about how if you do something wrong, you have to go out and wash in the water, and of course Jesus calls himself the living water. So not only in this experiment does it illustrate that Christ and Jesus is truly and just the true center of our lives, and the thing that we need the most, and how in our lives water is the most essential thing, as in our lives also Jesus is the most essential thing. Another thing cool is in this water, God points out himself as 3 molecules make up water. 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, make 3 things make 1 great thing, which is like God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, 3 things into 1. And also water, 3 states, solid, liquid, gas, same thing, 3 things making 1 great thing. Just a recap, the battery, which is like hearing the gospel, causes us to, if we listen to it and we do what we're supposed to and follow Christ and rely on him, we can be like this blue wire here and change not only ourselves but change things around us, instead of being like this copper wire where we're just sitting there as ourselves as we were back here, and sharing not the right things, and still being like ourselves, and we're destroying and not building up the people around us. That's what I learned. Just being, a typical homeschooler, just doing my work, and God shows me something incredible. It's pretty legit when you put it all together. Alright, thanks.